For centuries, the Sinagua people crafted pottery to store and carry water. No modern tools, just skill and patience and the right techniques. I'm Will, and on this episode of Secrets of the Sinagua, I'm recreating an ancient water pitcher using the paddle and anvil technique. I'll shape and refine it, just like they did hundreds of years ago. Will it hold up to history? Let's find out. Now for the tools we're going to be using, it's going to be really quite simple. I've got here a bunch of different paddles. We're probably only going to be using two of these. This little guy right here, he's going to be the backbone. We don't need nothing too crazy. I've also got some smoothing stones here. These are going to be great for shaping and getting rid of those big bumps in the clay. And these are my anvils that I'm going to be using. This big crazy guy we're probably not going to use, he's just overkill. But I've got these other ones that we'll be using for this project. I've got here a couple of flake stones that we'll be using for cutting. These are really sharp, and this is going to make short work of any kind of clay when we have to trim it for the coils. And here I've got some buck hide. This is going to be great for creating that rim, getting it nice and smoothed out. And we definitely don't want to forget the pookie. This is an invaluable tool right here. It's kind of the cradle for our clay. It's going to go right in there. A little bit of water. Can't work with clay without some water. And last but not least, the star of our show. We can't do too much without the clay, right? Well, looks like we got a quick inspection here of our tools. Oh, yep, looks like Cibola approves. That's always a good thing. Alright, and to begin this project, I'm just gonna break off some of this clay right here, split it right in half. That looks like a good sized piece. Yeah. Just gonna kind of compress this into a little bit of a ball here. And once I got it into a ball just like this, I'm going to start to smack it just like you would dough for a pizza. I'm actually looking to make a nice flat pancake shape out of this clay. Once I get it to the right thickness, I'm just going to drape it into the pookie here. This is always the fun part. Kind of get a feel for the thickness here. It's looking pretty good. It's kind of thick in some areas, but we'll address that. So I'm just going to press this down into the pookie here. Make sure I got enough edge to work with though, because when we start putting those coils up and I raise this up, we don't want any problems. With my smoothing stone, I'm going to dip it here in some water and I'm kind of going to smooth out the bottom, make sure it's fully pressed into the pookie. I'm just going to check these edges here. And this is looking pretty good right here. Yeah. Yep. Looks like even Cibola approves. Alright. With my cutting tool, I'm going to score some lines here on this clay. I'm not aiming for anything perfect, just something that I can lay the first coil on. This is going to be the foundation for that. It is time to make that first coil. I've got my clay here and I'm rolling it up into a snake-like shape here. Again, you can do this multiple ways. This is just how I do this. I'm not aiming for the perfect thickness or whatever. It's just, it looks like chaos right now, but it's all going to get paddled in and it'll make sense here in a moment. If you wanted to though, you could roll these out on a board or if you've got a flat surface and get it to the perfect thickness if you guys want. It's however you like to work. This just happens to be the way I enjoy doing it. It's just simple. I don't have that extra step. Right here, I'm actually pressing the clay into the body now, so it's going to all be one. This is an important step. You want to make sure that clay really gets pressed into it. But we don't have to worry too much again, because once we break out the paddle and anvil, it's just going to get really smacked in there. But if you're doing coil and scrape, this is a really, really important step. If you don't get this clay pressed in, there's a good chance you get a crack during the firing stage. That's never a fun thing. Well, we're at the paddle and anvil right here, guys. As you can see, I've got my anvil pressed up against the clay, and I'm just going to smack this thing like crazy. This is always a fun part. Right here, this isn't going to be too round of a jar, so I'm kind of going to keep this area just a little bit flat. I got to get out a bigger paddle for this. That little guy was not doing it. unfortunately, because these seams are a little bit thick. And the bigger the paddle, the quicker you can get rid of those seams. We'll switch back to that other little paddle, though. It's really good for detailing and getting those curves to come out. But for now, I just want to really make sure I'm getting this nice and packed in. It's looking good. I'm having a little bit of a trouble issue right here. We might have to address this. Let's see here. Try this little one again real quick. There we go. That was a stubborn seam. Yeah, that looks good. That's about the thickness I want. I got the little anvil now, and we're going to kind of fine-tune these edges here. I want them to grow upwards, so I'm kind of twisting that anvil to release from the clay as I smack it, and I'm also kind of rotating it upward, if you can see my wrist. I want this to start having this curvature to it. As you can see, it's starting to slowly form. We're going to spend a good amount of time just refining this shape here. We're ready for the second coil. Here I'm rolling another coil out with my hands. I'm just going to press this on like so. Again, if you want to, you can take your time and roll out a nice even coil, but it really doesn't matter. As you saw earlier, we can use the paddle and anvil to achieve a nice thickness throughout the clay body. And again, I'm just making sure the clay is pressed in well here. I'm using my index finger and thumb here to check the thickness. It's not too important at this step, but I do like it to be somewhere in the ballpark. The reason for that is, as I start to use this anvil again with the paddle, if I have it thick in one area and I only hit it twice in one area, and then I go to an area that's a little bit thinner and hit it twice again, well, I'm going to have a really thin area in that wall, and sometimes that's not a good thing. So I just like to spend a little extra moment just to make sure it's somewhere in the ballpark with the thickness. Again, it's not too important, but it can catch up with you, especially if you're working on a bigger pot. For these smoothing stones, these also make really good shaping stones. This particular one I have has all the right curves for getting those necks started and just making sure the body is nice and round as well, and all those bumps just get mowed down. Before I add the final coil, I'm going to let it sit here and firm up, so it'll be able to support that coil. The weight game sure is real with pottery. I'm going to clean up this edge and get it prepped up for the final coil. And the same drill as the last two times, guys. We're just going to kind of press this into the clay body here. Wrap it around. This clay is starting to dry out a little bit, so it's a little bit more crackly. But that's all right. I'm just checking the thickness again to make sure it's kind of even, using my main index finger and my thumb again, both of them actually, to get this to raise upward. Now the rim on this picture is quite an interesting one. It's got this little spout here, which is going to make it really unique. I'm going to just kind of compress it in a little bit, the clay. We're going to trim it here in just a second, get rid of those weird overlap edges. Got my trim tool right here. Just kind of gently shave this off. I don't want to get too aggressive because sometimes it'll crack the clay. It is finally time to add that handle to this picture, guys. So what I've got here is this stone that I found years ago. It makes a really good punching tool right here. Gotta kind of gently notch a hole into the clay here. I know it looks like we just destroyed it, but it'll make sense in just a moment. Let me slip the handle through there. Kind of making sure we got a nice clean cut here. I've got my other cutting edge. I'm just kind of scoring it a little bit to help make sure that clay slides through here. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Yeah. Let's check this rim a little bit more. I'll press that in. Yeah. For the handle, what I've done here is just basically rolled out a coil, and I've kind of compressed in the edges where I'm going to be punching it through these little holes that I made. Nothing too crazy. I do want to make sure I got a nice arch in this. Boy, this clay is getting really dried out, so this might be a little complication here in getting this thing on, but we'll see what we can do. Oh boy. Yeah, that looks like the right fit. Let's make a few adjustments here. With my punching tool here, I'm actually going to punch out a hole right here at the rim. This is where the top of the handle is going to go. And just like that, yeah. That looks like the right size. So you can see, I got this little notch here that we're going to just clip this oversized handle into. It is really thick right now too. I think I made this way too thick, but we'll fix that up in a bit here. Let's try and get this put in before it really dries out. Just like that. Oh, here, look at that in the middle. It's cracking already. Oh boy. Not good, but we got to get this pressed in real quick. Oh my goodness, guys, look at that. It is just totally cracked in the center. But we can fix that. No worries. No worries. Add a little bit of water. And just kind of start to finagle this clay into the main pot here. You'll just want to take your time if you're making something similar. With the handle fully on, I'm going to take the smoothing stone and just kind of work out some of these bumps here. And then I've got this paper towel that I'm actually going to stuff between the handle. The main reason for that is this handle it weighs so much, guys, and I'm worried it's actually going to crack off and while it firms up here. Once it dries for about 2 hours, I can take that out, but for right now, it's in a really vulnerable stage. Oh, wow. It has been about 6 hours. It is nighttime right now, guys, and this thing has been just sitting here. So I think we are going to go ahead and smooth it up a little bit, and then I'm going to wind up flipping it upside down and just letting it dry completely. We're almost done with this project. Oh, this is looking beautiful. The final thing I'm going to do here is just touch up this rim with this smoothing stone. I'm not aiming for perfection, but I do want it to be a little bit smoothed out, just so it blends pretty well, especially around this handle area. I noticed a few bumps that I missed earlier. It's already turning into a nice kind of leathery stage, even though it's only been sitting for a couple hours. I can't believe it's already nighttime. Well, looks like even Cebola's up late tonight. He's going to give it that final check. See if we get a thumbs up approval from him. Oh, yep, we do. Oh, just beautiful. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to let this sit for about an hour, guys, and I'm going to flip it upside down. I like my pots to dry upside down, and I think we're done. This is a project. I really hope you guys enjoyed the making of this picture. Sure was a lot of fun for me, and I hope you learned something. If you did, don't forget to consider hitting that subscribe button and helping this channel grow. And don't forget to stick around, because next time, I'm going to be firing this crazy thing. Alright, my friends, once again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till next time.